What's up, everyone? It's Pooka, and it's Friday, which means we're here for another episode of Fake Archetype Friday, where we take well-known decks and switch out the Pokemon and end up with a completely different version, usually much worse than the original. And I'm going to keep with the trend of going back in time and recreating old archetypes. This week, we're going with the deck that won the 2011 U.S. National Championship and also did very well in the following season, and that's going to be Yanmega Magnezone. The deck was affectionately named Prime Time by some people, but Yanmega Magnezone was the deck, and that's what we're going to look at. So before, of course, we had all of the Prime Pokemon. We had Yanmega Prime, Kingdra Prime, Magnezone Prime. Everything in the deck was pretty much a Prime Pokemon, thus the name Prime Time, but these versions of the cards are much, much worse. So we'll take a look at our deck this time. Of course, Yanmega, we have this one with Agility 30, and if you flip heads, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage. This kind of attack has been around since base set. I believe base set Raichu is probably the first card to have Agility, and it's still around 10 plus years later. Then we have Cutting Wind, does 70 for 3 colorless energy. So the other Yanmega Prime was actually better than this. It had that Pokebody. If you had the same number of cards as your opponent, then your attacks were free, which was pretty awesome. And it had first attack was linear attack, I believe. Did 40 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, and then Sonic Boom did 70. This one has to actually pay for its attacks. Not as good, but hey, we gotta work with it. This is our Yanmega for this deck. Then we had Magnezone Prime, which was an awesome Pokemon. 140 HP Stage 2. Magnetic draw power, much like the new Delphox. You could draw until you had 6 cards, and then Lost Burn 50 times the number of energy that you wanted to take off your Pokemon and put in the Lost Zone, which could do tons of damage. Was a pretty sweet card. We're left with these ones. We have this Magnezone, the Plasma one with Dual Brains. You can play 2 supporter cards in a turn. It's actually a really cool ability. Just doesn't get used very often because, well, you have to play a ton of supporters to take advantage of it. And it's a stage 2. And its attack isn't particularly good, so you would usually run this as a support Pokemon, and it just doesn't really fit anywhere. But in this deck, we're going to use it since it's Yanmega Magnezone. Gyro Ball does 80, and then we can switch. It's like an escape rope. We both switch. Yeah. So there's that, and we're going to run 2 of this other Magnezone as well. One Lightning does 30 with double assist. Take 2 basic energy from the discard and attach them to one of your Pokemon. And then Tumbling Attack, 70 plus 20 if you flip heads. So these Magnezones are awful, just awful. But that's what we have to work with on Fake Archetype Friday. We also have a 101 Kingdra line. Kingdra Prime was a tech in pretty much every Yanmega Magnezone deck after a while. And this is the new Kingdra with Dragon Vortex. That's the attack we're going to try to use to try to get a big attack at the end of the turn. Or at the end of the game. Once a bunch of energy hit the discard pile, Dragon Vortex can clean up for a final knockout. We also have Tri-Bullet, but we're going to run pretty much all lightning energy, so that probably won't be an option. And then the deck did run Jirachi, the one that devolved your opponent's Pokemon. So we're going to run Jirachi EX as well, just to try to keep this in line with the old deck as much as possible. Unfortunately, we do not have cards like Cleffa and Tyrogue in the format, otherwise I would have thrown those in here as well. But hey, this is what we got to work with. The rest of the trainers and such are not too special. Just your standard supporters here. We got a Tropical Beach. Tried to run a good amount of supporters, but it's tough when you're running so many Pokemon. We have 19 Pokemon in the deck. I am running an Iris, though. I made a point to do that, since it just seems like if you can play 2 supporters, one of them should definitely be an Iris, just to take advantage of that. We have Dowsing Machine to recover more supporters if we need to. Silver Bangle should let us get a little oomph behind our attacks so we can actually knock out EX Pokemon if that ever comes up. And yeah, that's about it. We got 9 Lightning, 2 double colorless energy, and 1 water energy, and that's going to wrap up the deck. So let's move on to a game I actually played with this deck, and we'll see if Yanmega Magnezone can still hold its weight in the year 2014. I would prefer greatly to have the old version of Yanmega Magnezone, to be completely honest. That would be much, much better, but we'll work with this one. Alright, so we're going to start off right with 3 mulligans, it looks like. And then finally get a Pokemon. We got Magnemite. And not a horrible hand, but I guess it'll depend on what we go up against. You know, if we're staring down a Team Plasma deck that can do 50 damage on the first turn, this is going to be a real short game. If we're up against maybe like a Blastoise deck that takes a few turns to set up, hey, maybe we got a shot there. So we'll see what happens as we open up with that Magnemite against Russ Dog 101. Sporting quite the mustache right there. Alright, so draw for the turn, and got a Silver Bangle. I'm going to play a Silver Bangle. I don't know what Emolga means. I'm hoping that it means I survive turn 1. Usually it does. Usually Emolga is a setup deck, and you don't have to worry about being first turn, so we're going to play our odds here and just Skyla for the Tropical Beach and draw until I have 7 cards. Not the greatest 7 cards, but Ultra Ball can get Jirachi EX, so not the end of the world. We see a Water Energy go on Emolga, and then I know for sure that I'm surviving the first turn here, but I'm still trying to figure out what kind of a deck this actually is. As we see an Ultra Ball discarding 2 Tropical Beach, so maybe it's a Blastoise deck? Oh no, it's round. Oh, it's a Tympole. Uh-oh. Alright, so we're going to have to face off. This is going to be an epic showdown. Fake Archetype Friday versus the classic Bad Deck Monday deck, round. Oh man, who's going to come out on top in this battle? I don't know, guys. We shall see. Alrighty, so my opponent has 2 cards here, and my position probably won't be advanced very much if I play that N. I don't want to give my opponent 6 fresh cards in this scenario, so I'm just going to play as many cards down as I can. Silver Bangles are pretty much worthless in this matchup, and then I'm going to Tropical Beach and draw until I have 7 cards here, and my hand looks much better now. So we'll see what we can do. I'm powering up Yanma here because Seismitoad is weak to grass. Go figure. Yanmega will actually come in handy because Cutting Wind does 70. And 70 times 2 knocks out Seismitoad in 1 hit. So this may be a battle of whether or not I can power up enough Yanmega in time. As weird as that is. Maybe this is one deck we could possibly keep up with. I don't really know. As we do see a Palpitoad and a double colorless energy come into play. And then a second Palpitoad. Uh-oh. And then a Tropical Beach to fill my opponent's hand up to 7 cards. Right here, I really wish, taking a look at the Magnezone, seeing if I could possibly knock out Emolga this turn, but I don't think that's going to happen. I really wish I had an Ultra Ball to discard 2 energy so that I could use Magnezone's double whatever that thing is. Double assist, I think that's what it's called. So I could actually take advantage of that attack. But I didn't get any Ultra Ball, I didn't get any energy in the discard pile. So we're just going to do, I could Tropical Beach, but I'm going to double assist for 60, maybe setting that Emolga up for a later knockout. I actually don't mind not knocking out the Emolga because it takes up bench space, and that means it's less bench space for Pokemon with round I don't know if that'll particularly matter in this matchup since I don't run any Pokemon that have like 180 HP, but maybe that'll come into play. Emolga taking up a spot. As we see the Ultra Ball for the Meloetta EX. My opponent actually did need 5 round Pokemon in play to knock out this Magnezone, and it looks like that's probably what's going to happen here. Which is kind of a bummer, but hey, what can you do? Round does do lots of damage, and if you don't respond to round quickly, it can roll you over. Just doing a constant 150 or 180, it is intimidating. It's just over the course of the game, if you manage to knock out these Seismitoad, the deck definitely runs out of steam. But I don't know. This is going to be close. We shall see what's going to happen here. Now, the Seismitoad, I will knock this one out this turn. Just attaching the third energy and using Cutting Wind. I'm actually going to do something cool here. This is one of the nice things about Magnezone. We can Skyla for Rare Candy, and then Rare Candy into Magnezone. And now we have dual brains, so we can actually just play a second supporter. So Skyla and then Colress. That's actually really cool. I like that. And we're going to go ahead with the Cutting Wind for 140 damage, taking down Seismitoad number 1. And we'll see what we can do from here. Now, a Seismitoad this turn would be some pretty big trouble. It would knock out my Yanmega, and I don't have any way to respond with one immediately. And we do see the Skyla for Ultra Ball. Uh-oh. That means another Seismitoad is coming out to play, and my Yanmega is going down. But the nice thing is my opponent has filled his bench with 4 Meloetta EX. Not really sure why, but this actually helps me quite a bit. Now, all I have to do is really knock out that Seismitoad, and my opponents are going to be really, really set back. Because if I knock out the Seismitoad, then my opponent has to put down a Tympole, and then wait a turn, and then Rare Candy into Seismitoad the next turn. And this late in the game, after the deck has taken so many prizes, once the Tympole comes down, I can just play an N, and I'll probably disrupt my opponent down to 3 cards or something like that. And then it'll be it'll be really difficult for my opponent to get Rare Candy, Seismitoad, Energy off of an N to like 3 cards. So that's what's going through my head at this point. As long as I can power up another Yanmega and knock out Seismitoad, we're going to be good. So I'm going to use this turn to just build up energy and play, draw some cards. We get a really good hand off of that N, and then Tropical Beach until I have 7 cards. And look at that, we got double colorless, ready to go. Got another Yanmega, ready to go. And hey, we got Iris, in case something weird happens. So go Iris. Now, my opponent puts a Float Stone on the Seismitoad and actually does opt to use Round here. He's kind of stuck in a weird spot. If he would have retreated, it would have been a strange stalemate where we would have just been sitting here for a while. But he does knock out the Magnemite, and I do get to use a Cutting Wind for the knockout on the Seismitoad. And now you can see my opponent's bench is kind of at a bottleneck, like I was saying. You know, one Seismitoad gets knocked out, now you have to do Tympole, Rare Candy, Seismitoad, and then if that Seismitoad goes down, you have to wait again. Tympole, wait a turn, Rare Candy, Seismitoad. So it takes you 2 turns to get each one out, and this gives me enough time to come back in the game, which I really need, since I was down at the beginning. But I do get the Magnezone out here. My opponent just sacrifices the Emolga, and at this point I'll just use double assist to finish off Emolga. I never thought I would actually be knocking anything out with double assist, but we'll see where I can put the energy here. I can go to Yanmega and just make sure I got that powered up, or we can power up Magnezone to perhaps Gyro Ball. And you know, I think I'll just go ahead and power up Magnezone, since I do have double colors to just power up Yanmega anyway. The only way I would really be in trouble here is like a rare candy, Seismitoad, and then a catcher heads on my Yanmega. Otherwise, I would be in fine shape. Pretty much no matter what. And powering up the Magnezone here gives me an option if a Meloetta comes out this turn to Iris and Gyro Ball for 110 damage, take 2 prizes, and pretty much seal up the game. And it looks like that's what's going to happen here. Funny how things changed around here very quickly for our Fake Archetype. This is very strange. We're actually looking like a powerful deck, and it definitely is not. But anything can happen on Fake Archetype Friday. There is the Iris and the Gyro Ball for 110. And we're going to switch into the Yanmega that has no energy on it. And at this point, I mean, we're up 2 prizes. I think we have somehow managed to win this game. I think no matter what happens here, I win at this point. Even if my opponent does get the catcher on the benched Yanmega, I can actually Dowsing Machine for Iris and Agility for 140. But no, not even that. Just an attack from Timpole, and we're going to Cutting Wind for the win. Cutting Wind, you may say. And Fake Archetype Friday, for some reason we end up winning some of these games. This is getting silly. I don't know how we end up winning with these kinds of decks, but hey, it's the magic of the old decks, man. They're still alive in my heart, and they will live on in each episode of Fake Archetype Friday. So if you guys have suggestions for me on what you want to see next week for a Fake Archetype, let me know down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will definitely have some more videos for you guys soon. This is Pooka from the Top Cut, and I will see you guys next time.